This is the Flex Network. We are back again for another Friday night Flex Finder podcast. Joining me as always to the box at my right side, one Flex Shane at Sealy_Shane. What's going on, brother?
What is up, brother? I am excited for this evening.
You're excited, but yet I feel like you're ready to party with that blazer. What's
it's
going
Friday
on?
night. We're going out. We got our flex shirts. We got our blazers. We're going to party.
We're going to party. And to the beneath me, it's late over there at Alan Says Lowski, ALANSES, Low Sky. What's going on, baby?
I'm dressed for bed. Shane's dressed to go out, man. It just shows you the age difference. You hit 40, and all of a sudden, all you want to do is go to sleep on a Friday night. Shane's got his blazer on.
Who was out in friggin' NYC not 2 weeks ago, DJing to all the hours of the evening.
Well, once in a while, I can dust off my my inner 20s.
The inner 20s? Was that like an age ago, a lifetime ago for one at Alan Says Lowski?
It's about 23 years ago.
Oh my gosh. Don't even date it, brother. We are here again using our wonderful tools that we have been blessed upon. Actually, let's start this off, guys. It's our first time on Facebook as well.
Going live, yeah, on the Facha book.
Yes. Today is our first time on Facebook. Our Ewalps, what's going on, baby? Find that Flex. Yes, Ewalps, brother. It sounds way better, Shane, by the way.
Good, thank you.
But yes, Ewalps, man, I'm so happy you're joining us for a Friday Night Flex. Let's first talk about what we're doing here and why we are here. So tonight we will be having Dynasty Vince join us from the Fantasy Freaks. They are a community on Twitter. They run every type of content out there. Devy content, Flex, daily content, season-long content, Dynasty content, which we're going to get into here a little bit. So Dynasty Vince going to be joining us later on tonight in about a half an hour. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about how great of a job that the Flex Network is doing in getting ourselves out there. Flex Mike doing a great job with his weekly roundup. If you guys, that show, primarily we do not subscribe the channel from Twitter to that show. But Flex Mike does a great job weekly breaking down just the game. Has nothing to do with fantasy football, just breaking down the game and the week ahead. And we like that. Also, we have the Snowman running pro wrestling content. Plug your ears, plug your nose. Pro wrestling is at a height right now, a height that nobody even understands right now, which is great. And then we rock Friday nights and then a nice little show Sunday morning with our friends over at Sirius XM. They are at Roster Watch. They are bestowing upon us the greatness that is their tutelage in fantasy football. So please follow them at Roster Watch. Get a pro membership at rosterwatch.com. They have tons of tools. I am literally, as we speak, it's probably cutting out all of our content because I'm doing this, but I am logging into Roster Watch. And I'm going to be using their matchup tool as I do every week. I mean, it's really easy when I can just pull up our online tool here and see what the best over-under game is. This week we have Arizona versus Atlanta with a 51.5 point over-under. I mean, geez, if Kyler Murray isn't just going to ball out this week, then he's a dud. No,
would you I'm getting a lot of early questions. Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray. What do you think there? Lamar Jackson's got the sweet matchup in Cincinnati too.
Oh, you got to go Lamar, right?
Well, Lamar is in a 47.5 point over under. So they have a good, what is that? A 4 point differential on the high side. Baltimore, heavy favorite. I mean, it could end up being a game where Mark Ingram just takes that ball.
Mark Ingram.
Right, but
somewhat of a Patriots game, would you say?
That game is an 11-point spread, but I feel like it shouldn't be. Like, I feel like I'm on Cincinnati in that game, and that's why I asked you that question.
Because how are you on Cincinnati? What have they done all season to just give you a suggestion that they might actually win a game this year?
Well, trying to flex. This is what we do here.
Yeah, flex on me, Al.
It's not so much that I think Cincinnati's good. It's that I think Baltimore is not that good. I don't think they're in the elite tier with the other AFC teams. I don't think they're defensively. They gave up 300 yards passing in the last 3 games in a row. Before last week, they just, again, they got exposed a little bit with the passing game. They don't really have anyone besides Mark Andrews that's consistently catching the football. Again, I'm not saying that they won't win the game. I'm just saying 11 feels like a big spread, and I felt like the true spread should be like 7. And then again, that just made me think, like, where are those points coming from? Is it a Mark
Cincinnati then, brother?
Right. Well, it's more the question just comes down to, is Lamar Jackson a top tier fantasy option if you have someone like Kyler Murray in a great matchup? That was really what the genesis of the question was.
Well, and hold on. And guys, that is a tough sit start question, of which we answer Sunday morning. Again, with our friends at Roster Watch from SiriusXM. We are there Sunday morning from 10 a.m. Eastern time for 2 hours till 12 noon Eastern time, which is, wait, is that right? Is it 10 or is it 9? I think it's 9.
10 Eastern. It's 10 Eastern.
10 Eastern. 10 Eastern. It's 10 Eastern, 7 o'clock my time. Wake up, guys, on the West Coast.
Cups of coffee.
Get your cups of coffee and come join the Flex Network on a game day edition of Start Sit. What do we got here? Michael Walters. Sup, fellas? What's up, Waltz?
What's up? Hey, Matt.
Yes, sir.
You know what woke me up this evening?
No.
That freaking amazing sign behind you.
That is awesome.
That is awesome, dude.
Yes. Let's give credit where credit is due. Z-Manzilla, my guy. Okay.
Yep.
I know this guy. Caught him in the pro wrestling circuit. I mean, just found him out, saw that he does designs, and I asked him, I said, hey man, this is what I'm looking for. What an amazing guy to work with. Z-Man, I'm so sad right now I don't have his information to plug up on the screen, but hit him up on Facebook, Portraits by Z-Manzilla. He does a fantastic job. Look at this.
That is sick. Like, look at that. It's a spitting image.
I mean,
look at that.
It's pretty damn close.
Hashtag flex. Look at that.
And it's hoodie mat too. It's hoodie mat. So
no, it's not hoodie mat. It's headphones mat. Look at it. It's not hoodie. Hoodie's clearly down. We don't need hoodie mat coming back into this cast right here. Okay. But also follow our friends at DFS Army with our promo code right there. Hashtag Flex Army. Look at that, baby. DFS Army taking down pots.
Oh my God.
Taking down lots of pots. 2 weeks ago or last week, we had the $1 million winner, Bobby, on our podcast.
He won like another 75 grand just last week.
Yeah, he won it. He took down another pot, and it was in the contest, the baseball one. He took first, second, third, fifth, and sixth place.
That's sick. That's so
sick.
I
mean, and here's the thing.
He must have the same lineup, right? To take all those. I mean,
you would have to have some differential. Yeah, you would have to have something. But here's the thing, guys. Basically, you could pay here he is. Right here, Z-Manzilla. What's going on, brother?
What up, brother? Hey, listen, while we got you watching us, dude, you need to make one of those for me, and you got to make one of those for Al, because that is unbelievable.
We're not looking for any handouts. We'll pay.
No, we'll pay you. We'll pay you what you're due. I'm saying it needs to be done.
It's not like he does this shit for free.
Well, just letting you know, I didn't want there to be any implication that that we were trying to swindle.
Listen.
We don't swindle.
You pay when it's worth it, and guess what? This shit's worth it.
let's get into that. So on our Friday night casts, what we do is we give a little bit of talk about something here, something there. Today we're going to talk about fantasy football as we always do, but dynasty football, fantasy football, which a lot of people out there, the general population, they don't play. People come every year, they hit their redrafts. Now, us maniacal members of the fantasy football community play dynasty fantasy football, which is all year round. Our drafts, outside of our friends, look at this. Def reach out. He's got us, and we will reach out. Dynasty fantasy football. Oh, right here. Here it is. His IG/Twitter at ZManzilla. Right there. Double N's on the man. This guy is awesome, phenomenal. We will continue every single time to reach out to this guy. This guy created the logo for the Flex Network up in the top right corner. He created the banner.
Very talented.
It's just, yeah. And I get
all you got a shirt.
There it is. All you guys got to do is pay this man and then just give him an idea. Give him a nugget. Hey, this is how crazy I am. And then he goes, here, you mean this? And then just produces it. And it's phenomenal. And then is such a great, replies all the time. This guy's awesome. We love you, Z-Man. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, brother. But as we get into Dynasty fantasy football talk, what we do every Friday is we pick 2 flex plays and 1 deep flex play each. And that is what we're going to invite Dynasty Vince into tonight and see what his plays are. Right here, Ewob's got a question. Is Dynasty usually an offline thing? What's the best site for it? Got a group that is heavily interested, but I don't know where to start. I think to me, Dynasty on my end is purely offline because I cannot play fantasy football, but there are tons of Dynasty leagues. Go ahead, Shane. I think you have them right on the tip of your head here that you can play Dynasty in kind of like DFS a little.
In Dynasty in DFS, not really. Like it's an annual thing, right? But I don't think he's asking if it's a DFS sort of thing. It's just how do you get into Dynasty? Right?
Hold on, Z-Man just put this. Oh, you should see the sketch Matt gave me to work with.
I saw it. Trust me, dude. I saw it.
I literally gave him a reference on a napkin from some just color crayon to napkin, and that's what he makes. He's amazing. Anyway, back to Ewalps. Offline. I guess I don't exactly understand.
No.
Can I take the question? Yeah, what he means is that when most people are playing redraft, they're playing on like their ESPN software or their Yahoo software. And you're saying, since it's Dynasty and it's all year round, you have to do it, offline or on a spreadsheet. No, there's actually websites now that support Dynasty football all year round. But even the mainstream ones, if you want to do it for free, ESPN, Yahoo, they all support Dynasty now. So you can just put in all your keepers and you can do trades all year long. The one that we like specifically is called the Sleeper app. And that one is made for Dynasty football and also My Fantasy League, which is a little bit more complicated to get the hang of as far as the software, but it's the ultimate in customization. We highly recommend the Sleeper app for
guys. I'm
Dynasty
telling you.
football.
So we moved our Dynasty League over from Fantrax, which it's fine, but Fantrax is more of like a desktop type software, whereas Sleeper is fully customizable and it's an app. And I've pretty much switched all my leagues. All the leagues that I have any sort of influence in is now in Sleeper. And on the commission, our Dynasty League. And man, I'm telling you, it is amazing. It's super easy. It's very intuitive. And the best part is if there's a question, you literally just reach out to the help group and they're there within 10 minutes they'll respond to you. If not less, it's almost instantaneous. So give it a try. Move to Sleeper. And you know what, guys? The best part about Dynasty is that, to Matt's point, it's pretty much all year round. Like we're in the heat of redraft right now, but yet we're still maniacally talking about Dynasty constantly. So it's
awesome. Right here. Holy cow, nice banner. Yes. And Z-Manzilla right here. Z-Man wants a shirt. Dang.
Yes.
We have so many people. We have so many people asking us for shirts. We will work at that. And then Kevin, how he calls us Canadian Beastie Boy, Doctor Who,
Kevin.
and yes, Sezzy McSezzy skin. Yes, that's who he is.
I love it.
Ewalps, hold on. Is the draft online? Ewalps.
Yes.
Offline. You could do both. Now, this year, what we did
Online.
and what we love to do, what we absolutely love to do is we love to get on a platform like this, or we use Google Hangouts this year, and we get a group of people, we get them all together in one place, and then we draft. We talk shit to each other. We have our mugs here, which is just water, of course, but it is high-end hydration, also known as White Claw. But yes, Ewalps, do this. Honestly, Ewalps, we're going to get you into a league next year with us. And I vow right now, live, the only drafts that I will be a part of that are new next year are auction drafts. Auction drafts are by far the most fun that you could have, and I would recommend it.
I'm gonna be cutting drafts next year. It's just I'm in too many. I
can't cut them. A flex question tonight: do we have MVS or Greg Olsen?
Greg
Play
Olsen.
the song.
No, Greg Olsen's a good play this week.
Okay,
but
if
Devontae
says
Adams
if you
is supposed to
play
be out again this week, and I know MVS had a stinker, but
yeah, he's got well, go ahead. Say what you were going to say. I have an answer for you. Well, what are you talking about with Marcus Valdez-Scantling?
Yeah, I mean, Devontae Adams is out. Yes, he had a stinker last week, but you think Greg Olsen?
I mean, right now on the season, MVS is wide receiver 36. That's just hanging on to wide receiver 3 value. It's been up and down. Again, your chances are you probably don't have a lot of other options, but Greg Olsen's going to be one of the main targets. It's a pretty good matchup for them. The Packers are playing the Lions. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really bad matchup for wide receivers. And I just think if you can't, I'm in a couple of leagues where I can't bench MVS, so I'm playing him. But if I could, I would. And Greg Olsen is a good option this week.
Greg Olsen with only 2 targets last week says.
Yeah, I know. It's a different
started
week.
Hot.
That was a weird week last week. It was a Christian McCaffrey. It was another week of Christian McCaffrey went nuts. Reggie Bonifant went nuts. It's going to be a different game. They need to spread the ball around a little bit more. Greg Olsen's in a pretty good
spot. Couldn't we say the exact same thing about Aaron Jones this week? I mean, they almost had the same exact week, Carolina did from Green Bay. Is it just as weird as Marquez Valdez-Scantling being in on 95% of snaps with only 1 catch?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. But if Adams plays, I'd be better playing MVS. But if Adams doesn't play, he's probably going to draw Darius Slay, and that concerns me. And again, there's not a lot of guys that concern me, but I think that
concerns me.
Yeah, so I would actually if Adams plays, I'm okay with MVS. If MVS is the number 1, I would just be a little dubious. And if I had an option like Olsen, I'd probably play him. But I understand the other way.
Ewalp's done. Thank you. Claw is the law, and ain't it right? So before Dynasty Vince gets here and we hit our flex plays of the week, we will talk a little bit about Dynasty this week. Now, listen, guys, I got a big question for you, and it involves one Alan Seslowski.
Uh-oh.
Okay? Now, if we all play in a Dynasty League together, a pretty hardcore one where we actually give a shit about it, and somebody absolutely swindles another person twice, do I, one, be upset because I was not the swindler?
That option.
Or number 2, do I congratulate the guy because it is the Flex Network either way being the swindler? Because Alan Seslowski bought honestly, I didn't take my own medicine.
Remember, I gave it on the pot. Go ahead, you finish, and then I'll comment.
Well, last week on our Flex Finder podcast, we included a couple buys. Last week, we said this guy.
Do you remember what mine was?
I said Cortland Sutton.
Right.
And I
You remember the tweet I put out?
not remember what you said off the top hand here.
Yeah, I basically said that it's in dynasty fantasy football, especially in most leagues where it's PPR and 3 receivers and a flex. Getting young stud wide receivers is impossible. You just can't get them. Like if you were buying Odell Beckham before this year, you're talking about like 3 first-round picks, and still the guy may not even do it.
Right.
So the key is to get these young stud wide receivers right before you believe they're about to go to that tier where you have Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, those type of players in their
Good luck
prime.
getting Chris Godwin this year.
Right.
No.
Well, it's over. It's over.
Exactly.
You can't. Now you can't. Now you can't. The window
I
was
tried
last
so
year.
hard. I
Okay.
literally tried
So
so
Damn
hard.
you, Mike.
Well, so I just want to say that Cortland Sutton is wide receiver 12 on the year. Okay, so he's a wide receiver 1 in fantasy football. Conditions aren't even ideal in Denver. The time is now. So you put offers out there. I valued him. Not everyone values Cortland. The perception on him is still not there. It's the same as we talked about Dalvin Cook 2 weeks ago. Dalvin Cook we thought could be had, whereas the perception of Kamara, Zeke, and McCaffrey, we think that those, and Barkley before the injury, could not be had. So the key is to get them right as they're about to go into that tier, and that's the only way to buy young wide receivers.
So we should maybe break this down a little bit more elementary. Yeah. Okay. Let's just get some people just into the idea of what dynasty is. I do a lot of dynasty redrafts every year, like dynasty startup drafts, which means, okay, guys, I've convinced you to do some dynasty work, or people want to get more involved, and so they go ahead and they go into a dynasty redraft. But people really don't understand what they're doing sometimes. Sometimes they'll draft like it's a normal redraft, and then next year when half their old guys are done out, or just Alshon Jeffrey, then they're like, oh no, well, that wasn't such a good hot pick. Well, and then some people like me, I tend to be this one because I enjoy playing dynasty to follow the young bucks. I overdraft young guys. Okay. I literally have a whole entire team of duds one year, and in hopes that, just because I enjoy the climb more than the peak. But a nice middle ground, someone like a Travis Kelce is a nice buy if you can get him out of value. A guy that's going to produce for you every week, probably for the next 3 years. But everybody's got their own strategy to it. Some guys want to buy. Go ahead, Says.
I'm wondering if we need to do a Dynasty 101 pod, because it sounds like there's a lot of interest and buzz about awesome. Dynasty.
Listen, we need to do that, Al. We need to do that like late November, early December, when people are kind of out of it. Some people are out of it in terms of the running for the playoffs with their teams.
Yeah, I'm talking like real rudimentary, like what is dynasty football? How is it different? How do you play? What type of players you should, when you're putting together a league, you should be looking for? Because a lot of dynasty leagues will just look for like their casual friends of fantasy football just to start another league, and then they fall out after a year or two.
Yeah,
I feel like if I just look like this, it'll be fine. Because look.
Yeah, no, you hit the timing right, Shane. You hit the timing right.
Yeah, it's perfect.
So, okay, let's just say that we don't have enough time on today's podcast to really get into rudimentary elements of Dynasty, and that will be coming, because everything that we do is live. That's how we produce this podcast. We run it live. We let everybody comment. If you got comments, please throw them in here. I don't give a shit. Tell me if you want to start. If you want to start last year's old paper bag as your running back, and you want to know if you want to do it, I say, okay, give me the question. But I'm going to start it off with a guy that I am buying.
Well, what are we doing? Dynasty buys?
No, we can do anything. That's just what I want to do. And I'm going to throw it to one of you, and then you can say whatever you want, because that's how we do it here. We are unscripted, and we're going to rock. And that's what we do. And so I'm going to say Christian Kirk. Oh. He was a guy that I probably might have. I did. I overpaid for Christian Kirk in the offseason. I used Christian Kirk as a bundle-in add-on as a part of a deal that I was dealing away Dalvin Cook. Okay. That's not one of my brightest moments out there in Dynasty, but I was waiting for Kirk to explode. And I think that right now, literally from now until Sunday, will be the time that the window is open on Christian Kirk. He came off an injury week, or he's coming off an injury week. He still might not even play this week.
All right, let me stop you there. So what do you think the price is? Like if someone owns Christian Kirk right now and let's say they're kind of out of it and they're looking to sell. What do you think would get it done? Not what would you offer, go back and forth. Like what do you think gets it done? Do you have to go ahead?
Here's the thing. Okay, and this is what the Flex Network is trying to make sure that all of our listeners understand. Ewalps, if you're here, if you're listening, Ewalps, if you're listening, all of you out there, the maniacal members of Roster Watch Nation, most of you already know this. How about the maniacal members of the Flex Army? Okay, we want to be the swindler in every single deal.
Yeah, but most people in Dynasty football are going to be a little bit smarter.
We ain't talking about those people, okay? We're talking about, oh my gosh, here we go again. Here we go.
Oh, that's right. You sold Belvin.
And you didn't have Madison, so dealing Cook wasn't too bad. Ewalps, what's going on, brother?
He's
Listen.
always there.
Okay.
Fans.
Of course Ewalps is here. He's the guy. We love Ewalps. Okay, listen. We want to swindle. So you ask me, what do you think I can get Christian Kirk for? Well, I'm going to do my damnedest to only give up a third rounder.
Not happening. Not going to happen.
It's not happening. It's not happening. But do you think, okay, so a trade just went down where Says paid a second rounder for Cortland Sutton. So
yeah, but that's not what I paid. I paid basically I for Cortland Sutton in Dynasty Fantasy Football.
You paid a second rounder and some guys.
A second rounder,
guys.
Mecole Hardman.
I know you say that.
Mecole Hardman and Kiki Kuti. So Mecole Hardman has already proven he remember this is only like his third year ever playing football. Okay. Yeah. Now his value, his perceived, I think he's going to be a long time. He's going to grow with Patrick Mahomes. He's going to be
perfect timing.
Yep.
Vince, are you here, buddy?
Yo, what's up?
Vince is on location right now in the Bahamas. Vince, I'm putting you over here. Vince, you're in. Vince's Dynasty. Vince is in the house. What's going on, Vince?
Nothing. What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Vince, you must be. You're in the Bahamas and you're calling us. It must be a lame trip. What the hell is this going on here?
Well, hate to break it to you, I'm not in the Bahamas. I'm in Philadelphia. It's pretty close to the Bahamas.
Oh.
Yeah. It's about as close as you can get to it. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, okay, we'll ask Vince this quick question before because, man, we let this. I was not. Sorry, Vince. I was hoping to have a little more time. It snuck up on me. That's what happens on the Flex Network. We tangents. We just go on tangential events where we just all of a sudden we're 30 minutes in and we didn't even know it. Vince, what would you have to pay to buy Christian Kirk in Dynasty?
Oh, in Dynasty, I mean, I'm a Kirk truther, so I'm probably whatever it takes, unless it's something absolutely ridiculous.
Vim, so what do you think the price would be? Like, just say to not the truther of Christian Kirk, but someone who has him, who likes him. Okay. But what would it take to pry him from an owner's hand who is like 1-4 right now, or and just the season's gone the wrong way for them?
If I'm a contender, I am totally fine with shipping off my 2020 first for Christian Kirk.
See what I'm talking about, man?
Yep, yeah, that honestly, that might not get it done though, because a lot of Kirk owners love Kirk.
That's just it. Everybody who owns Kirk is a truther of Kirk.
Right. Yeah. Thanks, Vince. You just proved what Matt was trying to tell us a minute ago, that he can get him for a third round rookie
I'm
pick.
saying I'm a good salesman. Okay, I'm trying to swindle.
Guy.
I'm swindling others.
See, I think that if you are, to me, if I'm not a contender, that's almost where I want to start buying Kirk, because Kirk is still only, I think, 22 years old.
Yeah, he's a real rebuilding type of receiver to own. It's almost an ideal receiver to own in a rebuild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And I think that if say you're bottom, I don't know, 20, like bottom quarter of your league right now, so you're probably gonna have a top 4 pick. That means your second round pick is probably pretty legit. So if you have a guy like I don't know, like like an Alshon Jeffrey maybe, or like a Marvin Jones and an early second round pick, and then maybe like a third or a fourth, like throwing in like one of those later round ones, you may be able to acquire him, maybe, because I think that like Christian Kirk, to the average fan, he hasn't exactly exploded off the scene this season so far. So maybe the people who aren't the truthers will be like, yeah, I'd rather go for an Alshon Jeffrey who he's producing when he's on the field, or even Marvin Jones at this point. So I think you might be able to do that, but anything without a 1 might be tough.
Vince says our guy here just bought Cortland Sutton for Kiki QT, Mecole Hardman, and a 2nd-round pick.
That's
It's a steal. It's a steal.
Yeah.
It's an absolute murdering. It's a murdering.
Why would someone do that?
Because he's an idiot. This guy probably is listening. This guy does not know how to play. And to get this, Vince, get this. Then the guy says a 2nd-rounder and Joe Flacco. Forget this. Are you ready to just fall over Josh Rosen?
Oh my God! Is it Superflex? Is it Superflex at least?
I didn't look. That was
God.
Right.
Hold on.
Don't make it any better, Vince.
I know. Maybe he's maybe he's just a Josh Rosen fan or something. I mean, that doesn't make sense whatsoever.
Yeah. Vince, I want you to talk a little bit about Superflex to the listeners. Explain how important, even like the Marcus Mariota, Joe Flacco, Josh Rosen tier in Superflex is. Could you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously your QB2 and Superflex is very important because week to week, a floor for a quarterback, even the lower tier guys, is probably, safer than starting one of your other flex options. Obviously, if you're stacked and you have a very good team, you might have a flex option that's sexier in the Superflex than a quarterback, but even the lower end quarterbacks are more valuable in terms of week to week, a safe floor.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, Vince, hold on. To get this train back on the track towards my greatness, Vince,
here we go.
How about a Gardner Minshew in the 5th round of our dynasty draft last year? Vince, please shower me with gifts. Vince.
I love Minshew. I mean, honestly, I don't think anyone doesn't like Minshew at this point. I feel like everyone's all in with Minshew mania.
Yeah,
it's pretty fun.
He's crossed over from the let's wait and see to like he's an every week starter. He may not be QB 12, but even QB like 15 is a starter in most even 1 QB leagues. What do you think is going to happen when Nick Foles comes back? What are they going to do with this guy?
I mean, honestly, has anyone had more of an odd career than Nick Foles? I mean, it would be so Nick Foles like to just lose a job to Gardner Minshew after getting that monster contract. But at the same time, he's getting paid so much money, and if you look at his contract, there's really no get out for the Jags. They're kind of stuck with Nick Foles. There's there's no dead money, there's a lot of dead money if they were to leave. They would have to eat a crap ton of money. So I don't know how you could take Minshew off the field, though. I honestly don't.
Well, and here's the thing. Hold on. Here's the thing. What a better quarterback that you could have. I mean, Nick Foles making sure to mentor a young Gardner Minshew.
Oh, he's not
That's the guy.
Anyway.
Well, he ain't mentoring the Mustache Mountain, but at least to have a veteran guy in the locker room, a guy that's not out there. It's not a Ben Roethlisberger out there hanging out with the president.
I got the dead
Stormy
cap here.
Daniels.
So this year would have been 45 million dead cap.
Jesus.
In 2020, it's 33.8 dead cap.
But you don't need to cut him because Minshew is on he's making like $580,000.
Yeah,
so it doesn't matter. But is there a team, Vince, that you think that would be willing to give like a 5th round or a 4th round pick for Foles' contract?
I mean, they would have to be very quarterback desperate because he has a very expensive contract. I mean, the Jags overpaid to get Nick Foles. I mean, we all know that, right? I mean, yes, it is market value, but let's keep it real. Nick Foles wasn't worth that money.
What about a Nick Foles back in Cincinnati?
I mean, I think he could actually be solid in Zach Taylor's offense as well. They sling the ball a little bit. Nick Foles he's totally cool to throw it downfield and everything like that.
It would be funny if the Jags are doing really well like they did in 2017. They're on their way to the Super Bowl, and right before the playoffs, Minshew gets hurt, and then once again, Nick Foles to the rescue and brings them to a Super Bowl.
That'd be hilarious.
I would love it, man. I'm a Birds fan, so Nick Foles has a soft spot in my heart for the rest of my life. So
that's right.
I know
Big Dick
that.
Nick.
Hey,
you know what? I think this week is going to be a really good test for Gardner Minshew against New Orleans. because they've got
Big
a stout
test.
defense. It's going to be a really big
They've
test.
got the best defense in the league. That's what I think. I think the Saints are the best defense in the league right
Did you watch the New England Patriots?
I'm not talking about the Patriots. I mean, come on. But it doesn't matter who your wide receiver is. Marshawn Lattimore is locking him down. It doesn't matter. Mike Evans, 0 points last week. Okay. So Minshew, who do you think? Okay, Vince, I'm going to stop right here because I know we're going to get into our flex plays and this is going to be a great conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. We're going to stop that conversation as great as it was. Tune in next week for your Flex Finder podcast to hear more about that. But Vince, let's talk about you, brother. Tell me about the Fantasy Freaks.
Awesome, man. Yeah, so the Fantasy Freaks is actually something that me and my buddy Richard, you can follow him on Twitter, RJC Dynasty. Me and him just started as a passion project. He's one of my good friends in real life, and just came up with the idea for it. And then, I just started networking hard on Twitter and just trying to grow everything, and it's going pretty well. And we're having fun with it. It's just the beginning. We just started up I made the account in April, but really didn't start anything till really like June-ish.
What's your focus? What's your area of expertise or niche that you guys have really zeroed in on?
Really, we're trying to focus on everything fantasy football. So that's, Dynasty, Redraft, Devy, DFS. Really just trying to dive all in on that. We have one guy, Matt Wells. He's doing really well with DFS. He does a really good job. He does a cheat sheet every week for DraftKings. Devy, we got this guy, Palst. He's at Fat Palst on Twitter. He's killing it. He's killing it with the Devy game. You guys got to check him out. He's getting a lot of love in the community with his Devy content.
What's his name? What's his name?
Yeah.
At Fat Palst, Poust.
At Fat Palst is going into middle schools, checking out and seeing which players look good on the 8th grade team to see which.
That was the funniest thing I ever heard in my life.
Yeah, Devy's getting pretty big within the Dynasty community. There's a lot of opportunity for growth, and the market's pretty wide open, and he's hella talented and he's pretty passionate about it. So
hey, Vince,
that's all it takes, right? It's just passion, right?
Explain to these guys, because I've tried to explain to them, and they just I get a lot of pushback. That if you don't have a taxi squad on your Dynasty team, it's not even a real fucking league.
Yeah, if you don't have a taxi squad, you would imagine you have like a 30-man plus deep roster,
right?
Because if not, it gets pretty hard.
Like I draft Kelvin Harmon in the early 4th round. I already had to kick him off my team, and it's like I'm not even going to see him get a chance to grow because
that's on you. Says you should have cut somebody else off your team and just had to make a tough decision.
And Vince, just because you obviously what you're doing here. Explain to them that it should be an unlimited taxi squad, or minimum of a 10-person taxi squad minimum.
Well, 10's pretty deep. That's a big number for me. All the leagues that I run, I commission 7 leagues. Do 27-man deep rosters with 3 taxi and 2 IR.
Right, but go ahead.
Yeah. No. It really depends. Say you're doing like something like a 20-man roster, then yeah, cool. But realistically, are you probably going to use 10 taxi spots? Probably not if it's just rookies.
Well, the idea being that you can hold someone on your taxi squad for 2 years, then you have to make a decision in year 3, kick them off or promote them. That's why.
Something like that, then definitely I understand the 10-man. Then if you're doing something like a 2-year taxi.
Listen, we got a boom roasted right here.
Go ahead.
Michael Yeager says, "What's up?" Michael Slotmaker says, "Yes." To Dynasty Vince's idea of a taxi squad, and Yeager goes, "Yeah, at Flex Shane, taxi squad in your Dynasty league." Yeah, I know. Here's the thing. Hold on. Here's the thing. We all play in a Dynasty league together, so this is our Dynasty league right here. And Shane is the commish. Now, Shane, hold on here. Ewalks, we have a commenter. Whoa, what is this taxi squad? How big of a roster should a Dynasty league be?
We railroaded Vince, though. He was telling us about his site and his guys that
No, it's fine, guys.
Hey, Vince, let me calm this down. Okay, listen, guys. Everybody's interested in Dynasty. It is the legit next step to your to your playing redraft leagues every year, okay, Dynasty is the next step. The Flex Network will now have to come out with a Dynasty 101 where we go through the rudimentary elements. Vince, we were talking about this before you got here. So I would like to maybe invite Vince back on to discuss the real Dynasty nuances, which we will do. So Vince, go ahead, go back to your, and we'll do that later. Let's go back to the Fantasy Freaks. Vince, I found you and the Fantasy Freaks a long time ago. We started our stuff about the same time, and I really enjoy your guys' content. And to talk about Devi content, so Devi means development. So Devi means guys in college already. A lot of people, even draft college players, they take Dynasty that far. Now, the average fan and the average person is probably not going to take it that far, but we at the Flex Network, we definitely want to get in to the deepest of waters and swim with the most just gangly teeth sharks here, Vince. And we want to flex on them. And we're now getting so deep into this that we almost don't have time for our flex plays. So Vince, we're going to bring you back, brother. And next time we're going to get you on cam and we're going to go off, but we're going to start our Flex Finder Fridays flex plays. And we're going to, of course, start with the guest of honor, Dynasty Vince. Now, Vince, you can go ahead and powder a little bit because there ain't no laws when you're drinking claws. And I need to get me another one, Vince. So please go ahead and just spit the deepest venom from your mouth right now.
Gotcha. You want all three of mine right now?
Nope, just one each.
All right, cool.
Merry-go-round.
All right, cool. So mine might be pretty obvious, but he's a guy that I love. Michael Gallup. You know, he's had a huge game. He actually leads the league in receiving yards per game at 113 per game. He's just a guy I absolutely love, and you know, you definitely got him at a value, especially in redraft. He's a guy I'm firing up this week versus the Jets.
Oh yeah, I love Michael Gallup.
He's great.
He's so efficient right now, which is what's so amazing about the way that he's playing. And you know, I'm actually kind of kicking myself because I wasn't high on Michael Gallup in the offseason. He wasn't somebody that I really targeted. You know, he'd be right around like your late round 9, maybe round 10 is where he was going in a lot of drafts, and I totally just glossed over him. And I was lucky that I was able to pick him up actually in an auction league that we play in. I picked him up as like the kind of Mr. Irrelevant for like $1 at the end of the auction. I'm like, why not? Let's go for Michael Gallup. You know, he's going to be the number 2 wide receiver in that offense. And so far, he's been absolutely amazing. Actually, both him and Cooper have been unreal.
Well, and Vince, let me ask you this question. How many teams do you have Michael Gallup and Cooper Kupp on?
So actually, unfortunately, I don't own Cooper Kupp in any of my dynasty leagues.
Gosh,
which
how wrong
totally
were we?
sucks, man. You know what? It's not necessarily that I was wrong. It was just that. So last year he was going for a decent price. I'm in startups. It was kind of like he had a good rookie year, but it was kind of like, all right, let me wait and see type of thing. You know, they have Robert Woods and they have Brandon Cooks there going into it, so it's kind of like, let's wait to see who comes out on top there. But then little did we know that the Rams offense was going to be like fantasy football heaven, and all 3 receivers would be relevant week to week. And, you know, I mean, and then this year my logic was I was going to wait for about around this time in the season to try to buy Kupp because I didn't think there was any way in hell he'd be performing like this coming off of ACL injury.
Yeah, he was my worst fade of the offseason and redraft too. I mean, at his 4th, 5th round ADP, I was laughing at people that were taking him, and now who's the joke on? It's on me.
Yeah, me too, man. It's a lot of us, honestly.
Sometimes
it's on a lot of us. That's what you said.
Sometimes the eyes of the beginner sees many possibilities. The eyes of the expert only sees one.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Vince. Michael Gallup back in the lineup last week. Guess how many targets?
Oof, I don't have the numbers in front of me because I'm on my phone, and if I click out of this,
14 targets.
14. Dude, he's been unreal. The Dallas offense has been very fantasy happy, man. Loved
Get
it.
this guy on your fantasy teams, Michael Gallup. Now, here's the thing, Vince. We're going to ask you right now. What's the price for Gallup in Dynasty right now? Just throw it out there. What would you pay for Gallup right now?
Ooh, maybe like a veteran receiver and a 2020 second, something like that.
Right. Like
I wouldn't be willing to pay like a first price. Maybe a guy like you mentioned earlier, like an Alshon in a second type of thing, just to try to get a really young guy. But it's like I'm the type of guy in Dynasty. I try to look for values in terms of my trading. The only time I'll pay up for someone is someone that I think is a stud or on their way to be a stud. I do like Gallup, but I mean he's probably riding a high right now, and this probably is not going to be a consistent week to week thing for him. But
where would he go in 2020 startups? Gallup, what round?
Gallup. Let's see. He'll probably be in like the receiver, probably like 30-ish range. So that's probably around 30 to 40. Wide receiver 30 to 40 range, somewhere in between there. Every draft's league to league, so he could fall to a value closer to the 40 or go as high as receiver 30.
Hey, Dynasty
probably like a
Vince.
6th round pick, 7th round pick, something like that.
That's what I would think.
Right.
Yeah.
Dynasty Vince, do you support this idea? Go out and find 11 of your dumbest friends and charge them $100 to play Dynasty with you.
No.
Do you support that idea or?
No, I'm all about the challenge. I like a challenge.
Dang it!
I'm all about the quality of the league. I mean, money's cool, but at the end, I mean, I'm in so many leagues. I'd rather have some competition.
Vince is my kind of guy.
Hold on, Ewalps with the comment. Sounds like Dynasty is where I need to be. Ewalps, you are going to be AOTA #1 in our next year's Dynasty startup. Vince, will you come a part of the Flex Network and be in our Dynasty startup? Maybe
of course.
Free league? Just a free league, I think, just to get people in.
Free league,
listeners.
Nobody wants to be in a free league.
Oh my gosh!
We can negotiate the details later. We'll negotiate
I
the
asked
details
you guys
later.
to go find 11 of your dumbest friends for some money, and you're like, "Oh no!" But then I go free, and you're like, "No, definitely not free."
Those things coincide with each other. You want to have stake in the game.
Guys, we have a lot of comments here where the guys are just talking shit to each other because I'm not even gonna put these comments up. But at Alan says Lowski, aka Season Long, says, "What is your first flex play on the week?" Says.
Oh, okay. We're not talking Dynasty anymore.
No, this is our Flex Finder podcast.
All right, you got it. I mean, all right. I don't know if this one was said because I went to the bathroom really quick, but
nothing else was said. But Michael Gallup.
Oh, okay. And whose was that? Whose play was that?
Dynasty Vince, baby.
Okay. Dynasty Vince, I'm curious right now. RB31 on the year, Adrian Peterson is in play for me this week. I know to a lot of smart people, it's an obvious play, but to casual players, it may not be. If there's one thing that I've really taken away from the season, it's when the coaches are animate about something, you listen to them. Bill Callahan, the new coach, interim coach over in Washington, is basically said they want to get back to being a little bit more run balanced, and Peterson is going to be playing in a great matchup against Miami. And again, I think it's not really, a super sharp under the cover play, but for your casual players, it might be. I really like Adrian Peterson this week. If he was on a lot of waiver wires and, you could have picked him up for a $1, $0 bid or just a free pickup, plug him in there, man. I think he could be a top 18, top 12 running back, something like that. Really surprise people this week.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I feel he's very touchdown dependent because the Washington's O-line's pretty trash. But, I mean, when coach says something like that, when a coach speaks up about wanting to run the ball and their only other running option is like a Chris Thompson, who's not really known to be a running type of running back. He's more a receiver.
Very effective in the passing game.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Well, and Case Keenum is looking like he's going to play, which means he's confident enough to move the ball. So who knows? Maybe Adrian Peterson can fall in for 2 touchdowns. Why not?
Definitely.
Good, Vince.
No. I mean, a lot with running back is just opportunity. It's all about volume, and the more volume, the more touchdown opportunities. So definitely.
And they are playing Miami.
Miami.
It's that time of the year where teams are, owners are desperate too with injuries and bye fill-ins. Adrian Peterson's definitely a a flex option this week. That's actually a really good choice.
And
well, Adrian Peterson is in the lineup for your boy this week over a Debo Samuel. What do you like about an Adrian Peterson over Debo this week, Vince?
I mean, feels safe. Debo he's the wide receiver 1 in San Francisco. Based statistically, him and Goodwin are about the same in terms of statistics. But yeah, I would definitely take Adrian Peterson with the volume.
Says you ruined Debo Samuel for me. Can somebody come trade me for this guy, because Says absolutely soured me on Debo because he said, I said Debo's the number 1 receiver in San Francisco, and last week he goes, you mean Marquise Goodwin is number 1? And then I watched Debo Samuel be in like 4 plays the entire offense.
Debo Samuel is certainly the future over there, but it's, right now, Jimmy Garoppolo, if you remember that when he went on that little run the year before he got hurt, I mean, who was his guy, Vince, right? I mean,
yeah, for sure. Yep, they connected on some deep balls. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, Goodwin's solid. Goodwin's solid. I mean, so a lot of times we get like infatuated with like rookie wide receivers and we expect production, but realistically, rookie wide receivers take some time. So I still like Debo a lot, especially in Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big Debo guy at South Carolina. I think he's a really good receiver.
He's a great receiver. Amazing receiver.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I do think it's like kind of like a 1A, 1B type of thing in San Francisco. It's kind of like week to week. They don't even really have huge upside because no one's really too excited about San Francisco's passing game.
It's
even Kittle before last week was kind of a letdown. He did have a really good game last week.
Vince, we got a comment here. We got a comment by Kevin S. He says he only wants Debo because of the movie Friday. Get the hell out of here.
Man, that's great.
That's how Debo got his nickname. I mean, that's not his real name, Debo.
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead. It's great. No, that's awesome. My buddy has Debo in a dynasty league, and his team name is That's My Bike Punk. From the movie. Yeah, it's a great team name.
All right, Flex Shane with your first flex. We got to speed that. We're going to speed this up here.
This one will be easy, though. This one's
okay. Go ahead.
We've already been talking about it for half the show.
Okay.
I think Christian Kirk, who's coming off the injury, who's looking like he's going to play, I think he's going to be a hell of a play against that Atlanta Falcons defense this week.
With an over-under of 51.5.
Yeah, so Vince, we're all part of a website called rosterwatch.com, and so we always look at their matchup tool, and their matchup tool shows that it is the number 1 matchup this week against the Atlanta Falcons. I think Christian Kirk, this is going to be the breakout week. So if you're going to buy Christian Kirk in Dynasty, wrapping it back to our earlier conversation, you need to do it before this week because he's going to go off, and then he's going to have that Chris Godwin level, I think, where that's it. You've had your opportunity.
And it's
yeah.
Go ahead. No,
Vince. You're good. You're good, Matt. You got it, brother.
Hey, you're the star of the show, Vince. That's why we brought you here, baby. You're teaching all of our listeners about awesome flex plays. Here we go. We got a comment from Ewobs, Vince. Would you flex Kirk over Woods or Lockett? I would not ever sit Lockett ever.
Nah.
Okay,
and I actually like Woods this week too, but I do love Kirk. I mean, Kirk. I might start Kirk over Woods. Yeah, that might be like a 12:59, a minute before the game. I get trigger fingers and just switch it real quick.
And the thing about Woods though is that Brandon Cooks is not looking like he's going to play, and Todd Gurley is looking doubtful right now.
Yeah.
It could just be a volume.
Hey Vince, how old are you, Vince?
I'm 28.
Okay, so you took the new SAT. You didn't take the old SAT. And the SAT, what do they tell you also? They tell you never switch an answer once you've made it. Never do the 1258 swindle. Once you have it, because I give out this advice and I always don't take it myself. And every time I switch it, you're disrespecting your old self. Your old self thought about it the whole week. Your old self put all the time, all the research, and put that guy in the lineup. And then your new self, the 1258 self, disrespects your old self, and then you always make the wrong answer.
Yeah, but like Shane said, I mean, with the roster, whatever you guys use,
Roster
the
watch,
tool, roster watch. I mean, Kirk does have a juicy matchup, so I mean, it's a lot of it comes down to
It's tough.
matchups with wide receivers.
That's
But
true.
That's why
like
we
you
tell
mentioned with Cooks and Gurley, when you talk, like you mentioned, that's obviously makes Woods look very sexy. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
Kirk's sexy too, so it's basically like a blonde or brunette. Which one you want?
Yeah,
Pick
this is
your
an
flavor.
example of add more damn flexes into your leagues, people.
Yes.
Next year, add a flex. You have one flex, make it 2. You have 2, make it 3 or super.
Well, listen, if you are playing, if anybody's out there listening and you play in a league with 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and a flex, get the hell out of here with that. Don't play in those leagues. Okay, we have our commenter here, Kevin S. says he had Kirk on the bench. Vince, now he's moving him to the active roster. And if we are wrong, he wants reimbursement and reparations. And you know what? You will not get any of those. Okay. Here's the thing. My flex play on the week is a very stinky one. It is not one that I'm happy to play. But here's the thing, guys. If we love Kirk and we love the matchup, according to the Roster Watch Ultimate Matchup Tool, we have the over-under on this game by Vegas at 51.5 points. Arizona 47.5 points, okay, which is Baltimore and Cincinnati, okay? The other big game on the week, okay? Auden Tate, baby. I'm gonna take Seslowski's pick from last week. I'm gonna just change it up and I'm gonna just play it this week. Listen, Auden Tate, how many plays did he miss last week? Anybody know that?
I can figure it out real quick.
He missed not one single play. He was literally on 100% of the snaps last week. Tyler Boyd.
Did he really? He had 100% snap percentage? Wow.
100% snap share.
I'd like to hear Vince's take on that. We were talking about Auden Tate last week and that go out and pay a 3rd round dynasty rookie pick for him. And these guys told me I was crazy. What's your take on Auden Tate, and would you pay a 3rd round dynasty just as loading your bench up with these nice young wide receiver prospects?
So I mean, with Auden Tate, I wasn't too high on him coming out, but I mean he's looked solid. He looked like he can definitely play. He's not a guy I would go out and target. If I'm a contending team and let's say I was desperate for depth, I would give up like a 21-3 for Auden Tate, and I wouldn't really care much about it.
Right. I mean, the guy is 6'5". He's 230 pounds. He just looks like a guy that could end up being a touchdown scorer. AJ Green's not coming back there next year, so it's going to be Tyler Boyd and it's going to be Auden Tate. And in a Zach Taylor year 2 Zach Taylor offense, I just feel like that could be a guy. Feels like an overpay today is not an overpay tomorrow. You know,
yeah.
And he could be
easily could be right. Yeah, you could. Yeah, no, for sure.
Too, right?
And you said something. And you said it interestingly enough. You said you're not going to care about that 2023rd. You know.
Yeah, when you're a contending team and you know your picks are going to be towards the back end of the rounds, regardless. I mean, it's if you can get a guy that you feel adds nice depth to your team, because I mean any week can change. I mean, I have a team with Devontae Adams, Barkley, and Christian Kirk. And I mean, I've been in the last 2 weeks. I mean, my team's stacked in that league, so I'm still chilling. But I mean, still, it sucks. Like you would never expect for those 3 guys to be injured at the same time. It's just the way fantasy works. You can't predict things like that.
Nice humble
Vince.
brag, by the way.
Hey,
Thanks,
Vince,
man.
Let me ask you a question, Vince. I just switched my sunglasses, Vince. I don't know if you knew that, but I got my new glasses.
Can you see us, Vince, or is it just?
Yeah, no, I could see you. Yeah, no, I could see you. I'm on my phone and I'm actually talking out. I'm sitting in my car because I got my 2 kids. They're friggin' teething like crazy, just screaming bloody murder. So,
Hey Vince, I ran this entire podcast thinking that you didn't see me at all. So now, now you caught me with my pants down, Vince. Hey, listen, what would you pay right now for AJ Green in Dynasty?
Ooh, God, I just saw him. He got traded in one of my leagues today for Alshon Jeffrey and a 2020 second.
That's a good trade. That's a great trade. What if he goes to the Patriots? Do you like him more or less?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely like him more. I mean, that's like I would assume like Josh Gordon doesn't stay with the Patriots and they're replaced with AJ Green type of thing. I'm also big on N'Keal Harry. I'm still not giving up. I'm not giving up on Harry yet, man. I
So you can
love
tell I'm a
Harry.
Patriots fan.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I love Harry, man. Like I was screaming all off season, man. He was like my guy. He was my 101.
It's
he
funny.
was my guy too, and I drafted him. Then I traded him
To me,
to change.
it was a fair trade.
Vince just hit us on that. Vince, talk about why, because it's funny. On my rankings, I dropped them down. I got a lot of pushback on that. I actually had a bunch of the wide receivers. I think I had him at like wide receiver 6 or something like that. It was way out of line with the market, which always gets me a little nervous when I'm too far away. Tell me what it is about N'Keal Harry that you liked.
I mean, he just was very good in college, man. He's just yards after catch, his frame, his body, he can make the big time catches, big time plays. He's just a fun player to watch, and he's very strong. He reminded me very much of Anquan Bolden. So and I loved Anquan Bolden. He was one of my favorite receivers.
Yeah,
so I love the way he plays, man. He's like, and then he fits the Patriots scheme with like those quick passes at the line.
Yep.
Yards after catch type of guy. I mean, that's obviously why the Patriots loved him.
So
let me tell you,
in the preseason when he got injured, like that catch that he actually got injured in, it was a slant outside and he came back and it was an amazing catch. But I mean, obviously, put him on IR.
He just strikes me as like another Scatman Crothers. And Vince, I don't know if you're old enough to have seen The Shining, but Scatman Crothers, you remember Scatman? He spent the whole he spent the whole movie trying to get there, and then when he showed up, he got the axe to the chest. I mean, that's what happened with Darius Geis, and now Chris Herndon is our new Scatman Crothers. I'm just hoping.
Okay, well, let me tell everybody this, guys. It is definitely clear that Says is plus 10 years older than all of us because he brings these Scatman Crothers.
I love
and here I am thinking, who's Scatman Crothers? I just want.
Well, I told you who it is. I told you.
Well, yeah, but even when you said it, I was still astonished that you even referenced the Scatman Crothers.
Well, the Scatman Crothers is like waiting for Guffman. He spends the whole movie trying to get there. He just never gets there. It's like Darius Geis. It's like he shows up and boom, axe to the chest again. Scatman. That's what happened.
Here's the thing. I love that reference. And you know what else I love, Says? N'Keal Harry. Let me tell you why. Arizona State University, not a college that a lot of people come from with a huge name. And here's the thing. He was eyed upon early, like before his senior season, he was eyed upon. So not only do you have to come from a school that probably doesn't have an elite quarterback, you have to just be taught and absorbed and just go up and get that football every time it comes to you. And that is something that he did. After everybody was looking at him, after all the eyes were on him, he was able to come down with the football at every single turn at all costs. This guy is a Des Bryant to me. This guy is a game changer. He is a guy that no matter what, he's going to break your entire body, but he's coming down with that football. And that's why I love N'Keal Harry. That's why I drafted him just as a lot of people did. I think he's one of those guys that people have forgot about. I mean, when you look at that Patriots team, that undefeated Patriots team, nobody is seeing N'Keal Harry right now on that team. And can you just see that it would make Tom Brady go another 5 years if he gets an animal like a N'Keal Harry on the football field week to week, Vince?
And Jacoby Myers, man, looks good too.
Yeah,
young guys.
Jacoby he looked pretty solid. He looked pretty solid last night. He made a couple good catches. The thing is, he was the second best receiver at NC State too. I still like Kelvin Harmon. It's just a matter of opportunity there in Washington.
You heard me reference Calvin Harmon earlier. It makes me sick that I had to drop him in this chicken little league that we're in.
All right, Says we're gonna add taxi squads. Vince, your second.
Hey,
Vince, what is your second?
Al, you're the co-commish, all right? So you got a voice too, brother.
I did not know Al was the co-commish.
Yeah,
I didn't know either. Go ahead, Vince. Second flex play, Vince.
Oh, mine is D.D. Westbrook this week going up against the Saints. They've been trash guarding slot wide receivers.
That's a good
That's
one.
because Lattimore is so phenomenal, taking away your best asset. So coming over the middle. Now, D.D. Westbrook, Shane will go ahead and pull up the player pro. What is that? 4'4" speed, 6 foot, 178. Preseason, D.D. Westbrook was the guy to be on. Okay. D.D. Westbrook might be getting disrespected this year. Last week, he showed out. Says, what do you got on D.D. Westbrook?
Yeah, D.D. Westbrook was the player that everyone thought was going to be the number one wide receiver in Jacksonville. It's been well documented on this podcast that we liked DJ Shark. We had a lot of misses, but one of our hits was DJ Shark was going to be a top 36 wide receiver. That's still kind of a miss because he's a top 12 wide receiver. But DD's been forgotten about, and ever since he's kind of faded to the background, he's come on strong. D.D. Westbrook better suited as that secondary wide receiver. I love this play. I picked him up in a league where he was somehow dropped, and I'm excited to play him in my flex this week. That's a great call by Vince.
Yeah, look up PJ Williams is grade out of the slot. He's pretty horrible. That's the Saints slot corner. He's been pretty trash this year. So teams have been eating this. That's been the Saints' biggest weakness on defense. So D.D. Westbrook, it's like perfectly aligning for him to kind of return value for the people that were drafting him to be a relevant week-to-week play.
Project us a line. How many catches, yards, and what's his percentage of chance of getting in there?
Just to tell you, Vince, last week, according to Roster Watch's snap counts, touches, and targets tool, he was targeted 11 times, the exact amount of times Baby Chark was targeted. Okay. Dede had 7 touches. Baby Chark had 8, but obviously Baby Chark with 164 yards, 2 touchdowns. But Dede, no slouch, at 82 yards, 7 catches, 82 yards. So there's the line from last week. Vince, bestow upon us the line from this week.
Yeah, I mean, it could probably definitely be somewhere right around that. I was actually thinking like 7 for 70 in my head with a touchdown type of line, which would be a solid. I mean, I'll take that. That's 20 points in a PPR league.
Here's his game log just in terms of receptions for the last 5 weeks. So week 1 through 5 receptions and a TD. Week 2, he had a dud with 1 and 0 TDs. But then week 3, 5 receptions. Week 4, 5 receptions. Week 5, 7 receptions. So he's got a pretty solid floor.
Yep. No doubt. He seems very safe this week. Yeah, he seems very safe this week. Yep, he's a very good flex play.
Vince, this is the commenter right here, and I want to get your take in on this. Mark Andriotti, Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman, or Damian Williams for a flex spot this week. Now, I know a lot in DFS are betting on Damian Williams this week because potential low ownership against the Houston team over there. Damian Williams, Tevin Coleman, Vince, or Devontae Freeman in the flex.
Whew, that's a tough one. I probably would lean Damian Williams because of the touchdown opportunity and the best offense out of those 3. But that's definitely a tough one. Coleman looked good last week. Freeman was solid. San Francisco's backfield's kind of a headache. You're not gonna get 2 touchdowns every week from Breda, and then stuff like that.
Atlanta
it's
against
like
Arizona. Against Arizona on a high over under from Vegas.
Yeah, that game script could get flipped pretty quick if the Falcons go up on Arizona. Arizona's kind of trash, so Freeman could kind of be by the second half, not really getting used too much on the ground, and then
Ito.
It might be like an Ito type of game, which could be super frustrating. That's the hardest part with projections. Like you can look at it and say, all right, Atlanta's playing Arizona. That's an awesome matchup for him, and then the game happens and it's like shit. Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse. Sorry.
It's all right.
Did it anyway.
You'll hear from our attorney real soon.
Yeah. And then it's like halftime and the Falcons are up like 21-3. And then the second half comes out and they're giving Freeman a couple carries. And then, by the time halfway through the third quarter, the game's basically over and Ito Smith's just pounding. It could just be a frustrating game for Freeman. Coleman, I definitely see. Coleman or Williams would be my 2 choices narrowed down, but I lean Williams.
All right, Sez, let's hear it.
On this question or on the next flex play?
On this question.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree with what the sentiment here. I don't think there's any reason to beat a dead horse. That sounded pretty
Damian Williams. in the flex, baby.
Yeah.
Mark Andriotti, thank you for the comment.
Just to put a bow on that one, I mean, Patrick Mahomes right now, he is dealing with that ankle. So there is a possibility if they're ever going to scale back his throws, it might just be this week.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not.
But maybe.
Yeah. Vince,
could be frustrated for him too, because it could be a shady game. You never know what you're gonna get. Yeah.
Or Darrell Williams.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay, let's do this again. He says, okay, he's gonna one up us here. He's gonna go, okay, what about Lindsey, Damian Williams, or Gallup? Need one RB, one flex. Well, let me tell you, Andriotti. What's up, brother? Thank you for the comment. Earlier in the show, we talked a lot about Michael Gallup this week, and we think we love him this week. Right, Vince? We love Gallup this week. So we're going to play Gallup because that's what we said. Okay? So we're going Gallup. Now, for the running back, Phillip Lindsay or Damian Williams, Vince, hit us with it.
I'm a Lindsay guy. I'm leaning Lindsay there. I love Lindsay, man. I'm a huge Lindsay fan. I think last week, the coach is starting to catch on. Lindsay is just flat out better than Royce Freeman. Nothing against Royce Freeman. I just think Lindsay is just far more talented. He's a game-changing type of running back, I feel. I'm a huge Lindsay guy. I know not everyone feels the way I do about him, but I love the way he plays. I love the way he runs.
Yeah, I just want to jump on this for a second. I mean, I'm right there with you. We were touting Lindsay as a buy low candidate in our week 3 podcast. If you saw him play or if you owned him in any previous years, he just looks better, and it was only a matter of time. Everyone talking about his small size and stature, but I mean, he looks better through the tackles than he does going around the ends. I mean, he is. I think the buy low window is completely shut on him at this point, but he is still a player that you can get for for non-elite pricing. I think you could pay a 2020 first and get him. I mean, if you're at the back end of your contender.
A lot of dynasty people are truthers about Royce Freeman too, right? So they almost don't want to lead that Phillip Lindsay's the lead back in the offense.
Yeah, they're so hung up on him, man. It's the same way people are with Penny in Dynasty instead of just realizing Carson. It was all off season. It's like Penny. It's like, no, did you watch Chris Carson play last year? I don't care if he was undrafted.
At least
did you watch him play? He's a good, flat out, just good running back.
Right. At least the Penny thing is defensible because he was taken in the first round, so you could
draft
see
capital.
Right. Whereas Lindsay was just, he was he undrafted or a 7th round, something like that.
Yeah, he was undrafted last year, and Royce Freeman, I believe, was a third round pick out of Oregon.
Right.
Yeah,
third round pick.
You could at least use that narrative to frame the argument to be logical, but obviously the eyeball test. If you came in from another planet and just said, "Hey, look at these running backs," you'd come to that same conclusion you just talked about.
Yeah.
Wow. That's sorry, Vince. That is how real analysts deal with this situation. So I'm saying we have to go with Lindsay here, right? Lindsay and Gallup, one running back, one flex play.
Hold on.
Now, guys, hold on. We can't. We have done this 3 times today. If you watch this whole cast, we got off the rails. Okay, we're completely. Let's hone this back in and let's just go right to our deep flex plays on the week. Sorry, not the year. Let's go right now. Just hit it quick. 4 of them. Vince, be ready, and then let's get out of here. Says,
gotcha.
Hit us.
But you don't want to let our guest of honor to go first?
Vince, hit us.
Hit us.
Willie Snead, because Hollywood Brown is not playing.
Oh my God, that's deep.
Has he been ruled out, or he's just?
It didn't look. It's based on what people are saying on Twitter. It looks like that. This is going to be the first game Hollywood Brown's going to miss of his NFL career.
Vince said Willie Snead with such pride.
Dude, I picked up Willie Snead just today. Put him right in, Vince. I'm with you, buddy.
Let's go.
No, Willie Snead. He might be the number 1 wide receiver in Baltimore. Okay, let's go.
Is it a Miles Boykin game finally?
It could be. I think the pivot with Hollywood out would definitely be Willie Snead, but it could be the Boykin game. You could you could see Boykin getting a touchdown tomorrow. Not tomorrow. I'm sorry. Sunday.
Sunday, yeah. Oof.
Vince, we rocked you so hard to Sunday. Says,
Well,
Your deep flex play, or do you just want to add to it? Give me some.
I'll give you my my deep flex play. Vince, I'm sure you get asked a lot of questions online about who do I start? Who should I pick up? And this week, it's just been a murderer's row at tight end. Like nobody has anybody to play. I get people screenshot their waiver wire, and it's just one carcass after another. But the one guy who had a little juice last week and's got a good matchup. Now this one's disgusting and ugly, but if you're really strapped in, I'm in a league where I own Darren Fells and Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram sat out.
Wait, who?
Not Fells. Darren Waller. Right. So, but that I just gave away. Fells was my my deep flex play. So Fells had a couple touchdowns last week, and they're playing Kansas City this week. I mean, if you're just totally desperate and it's a graveyard at tight end, I think you could put Fells in there. I know he's an older 33-year-old tight end, but you can reasonably maybe hope you got a 40 to 50% chance to get another touchdown. So if you're going deep and it's an ugly tight end year and an ugly tight end week, Darren Fells, Houston Texans.
What?
Play the damn song.
Play the song.
Hey, it's not any uglier than Willie Snead.
Willie Snead's a great play this week. Okay, a fantastic play. Shane, what is your last deep flex play? Really put it on a saucy.
Well, I'm comping out, baby. With Gurley likely to be out, or even if he does play, he's probably going to be in a limited role. I think Malcolm Brown this week's going to have a monster week. And don't look at me like that, Al. I know it's a cop out. Malcolm Brown. He's going to be good. I'm
not disagreeing with you because I disagree. I'm disagreeing with you because that is chalk.
It's too easy. I know. I get it. That's fine.
That's a free
How
square.
Is that
in DM.
exactly chalk.
The last 2 damn weeks. Okay.
I deal with Vince. You see what I deal with?
Legitimate.
Go ahead.
Oh man, you guys are great, dude.
Well, thank you for saying that. Now, Vince, let me wow you with my last flex play. But first, Ewalps, think Henry goes the word in. He is going. Today, full on practice today, not even on the injured list. Hunter Henry goes this week, guys, and he is in there. He's in there for me. I've waited all year. I have Darren Fells as my backup option. What is this?
Hey, Hunter Henry is one more injury away to adding to our Scatman Crothers list.
Scatman Crothers, who is that? Oh,
shows up and gets an axe to the chest, man.
Hey, okay, this will be a guessing game, Vince. Who leads their team in touches, targets, yards, and touchdowns? And who is going to be my flex play on the week? Vince, who leads their – that might be incorrect information. But who leads their team? Who leads their team in
his own Madden created player. That's who it is.
No. Okay, hold on. I wrote it down. Sorry. I wrote it down. Here we go.
Every week, Vince. Every week.
This is not every week. Targets, receptions, and yards. Sorry, I had to pull it up on my notes on my iPhone. Targets, receptions, and yards. Who leads their team in targets, receptions, and yards, and is my flex play this week?
Give him multiple choice.
Preston Williams?
Oh. Yes! What an answer! Wow! Boom! Fireworks!
I'm impressed. Vince, I'm impressed.
That is impressive.
Thanks,
that was
man.
impressive.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That blew your mind.
You guys didn't rehearse that?
I did not rehearse that.
All right. I'll buy it.
Preston Williams. I
was thinking of crappy teams, so I just thought of that right off the top of my head. I'm like, who the hell is he going to be a deep flex and leads his team in targets, yards, and receptions?
Yes.
He's got a good profile, man. Preston Williams is fun. Yeah. He drops too many balls, but he's got a good frame.
He fell
6'4", 211 pounds. Runs what is that? A 4.6? Is that a 4.66?
Yeah, it's the Dominator. It's the Dominator rating that sticks out. I mean, his breakout age sucks, but that's because he was a knucklehead in college.
Right.
His Dominator is awesome. He was dominant in college.
Yeah, I can't read that because my glasses are so cool. But Preston
itself, who's an Albert Wilson truther, just needs to put it to bed.
Yeah,
Hey, man, I was too, man. I like Albert Wilson too. It's just, what are you gonna do? It's those fast guys and those damn soft tissue injuries.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a good
last
point.
week, both him and Devontae Parker got 83% snap share. Preston Williams targeted 3 more times, but just failed to best Devontae Parker this week. Devontae Parker, although a good play, rather unreliable. Preston Williams has shown to not only be a target hog, but he catches the ball and he gets yards. Book it this week for my final Flex Finder. What's going on, brothers? I'm here. Love you, miss you too. All of our fans. Vince, how can everybody find you, brother? Thank you for coming on. That was awesome. How can everybody find you?
Yeah, on Twitter, I'm at Dynasty Vince. No spaces, nothing else. Very, very simple. Also, wanted to plug something real quick. I actually started up a fantasy sports community Discord server. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Discord, but it's a form of communication, and it's pretty cool, man. Trying to get the community, all in there from all the different sports to kind of have one place.
Can you invite us? Can you invite us?
What is it, like an
Yeah,
app,
it's my pinned tweet on my Twitter, so you can actually just check that out, and you guys should definitely join. You guys can definitely promote your stuff in there. I'm totally fine with that. Plug whatever links you got to plug week to week. It's just a place. Yeah, we have I think we're at 60 people in there. I started it 2 days ago. Just getting that started, just trying to network as much as possible. It's all football community right now, but definitely going to try to get the baseball, basketball, hockey. Even I had a guy ask for Premier League for soccer. Yeah. I guess that's very big.
Most popular sport in the world.
We gotta get our buddies
for sure.
Guys.
So if Vince, you guys can share that with all your friends, all your league mates, whatever. It's going to be a really cool place, man.
Well, cool. Let's do that, Vince. That's awesome because the Flex Network, we like basketball here. We rep Alan Seslowski's fantasy basketball cast that we just had, and that was awesome. Pro wrestling, maybe. If you guys asking about a Premier League, we gotta have the pro wrestling in there, right?
Yeah,
that's
whatever.
Gonna be a fun place, especially when the Flex Network gets entered into that. Find at Alan Seslowski, aforementioned at ALANSES Low Sky. Alan, what's your final sign off here, brother?
Oh yeah, no, just like you just said, I'm doing the fantasy basketball season long podcast on the DFS Army feed. We're here every Friday night, and then we also do our Geeks Vegas lines every Tuesday, where we run over all of the betting angles and DFS plays for the week at dfsarmy.com.
At Sealy_Shane, Flex Shane. What's going on with you, brother? Sign it off.
You better promote our other cast together, Shane.
So, Vince, I live in Canada, and it's actually our Thanksgiving this weekend. So it's going to be a pretty chill weekend. Got a couple of dinners that I'm going to be going to, some Thanksgiving turkey, watching football on Sunday. I'm looking forward to it.
Nice, man. Sounds awesome, dude. Enjoy the time with your friends and family.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Shane, you forgot something. You forgot a certain podcast that you're on.
Oh, that's right. We're on a podcast on Sunday morning, first thing, live with Roster Watch. So that's something we do every Sunday morning from 10 to noon Eastern. We go live. People ask us their start set questions, and it's a lot of fun. It's a little bit crazy. And Byron Lambert, who is with Roster Watch, they have a show on SiriusXM from 10 to 11 Eastern. And then he joins us shortly thereafter for a good 45 minutes where he helps answer questions as well. So come check it, guys.
Before you sign off and give your final plugs, Vince, what are some of the Dynasty websites or podcasts? Give me the top 2 or 3 you listen to get your information, other than just the research online.
Yeah, so definitely DLF, Dynasty League Football is great. They're definitely the leader. They're definitely the leader within the Dynasty community. Them and the Dynasty nerds are phenomenal. I love the nerds crew. They're just 3 great guys on the podcast. It's fun to watch. It's very informative. They do a very good job around rookie draft season. That tends to be the people that aren't like fully like locked into Dynasty but play it. That seems to be the part of Dynasty that they lack when it comes to like rookies knowledge with that. So, you know, if you're not watching college football and familiar with prospects, I would highly recommend listen to the Dynasty Nerds.
Yeah, Rich
If
Doc,
not,
but
you know, yeah, y'all, Rich is
Rich,
great, man.
yeah, he knows his stuff, man.
Yeah, for sure. Garrett and Matt are great guys too. But yeah, I mean, I'm just not gonna lie. I mean, I think Fantasy Freaks. I think we're gonna have great content for
Awesome.
Dynasty and especially rookie draft season. Our Devi guy, like I said, Fat Paus, he's legit. It's I'm lucky as hell I got him when I got him.
Well, that's awesome, Vince, and we hope that you will grace another Flex Network podcast in the future. We also do a waiver wire podcast on Monday. You can see it live Monday or see it released the next day. In total, I think the Flex Network has like 6-7 podcasts a week. I think, or 6, I think at least, with all the content going. And Vince, we would like to bring you in as a part of this, as a fun, maybe a quarterly podcast. That would be dope. Maybe you can bring a couple more of your friends and we can have some fun here all together. Maybe we can get a couple rivalry things. Maybe we can do a couple live drafts. Who knows, Vince? If you're down for it, then of course we are.
Hey, I'm totally down for the Flex Network and Fantasy Freaks teaming up whenever, man. We got a good group. I don't know if you guys know like D Brown and Big Cat on Twitter. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but they're one of the co-owners with me, and they're just great guys. We have a lot of fun. So I'll hit me up whenever, man. I'll come on whenever.
Love it.
Dope. And that is going to be it for our Friday night Flex Finder podcast. Again, find us Sunday morning, 10 o'clock Eastern, with Roster Watch from SiriusXM, answering all of your start sit questions on our game day edition of the Flex Network. Thank you, and have a great week 6.